G'day Bomber fans, season 2024 coming up. I'm going to be doing some proper predictions for the league as a whole eventually, but today I'm going to steal a video idea from Absolutely Essendon, who recently did some very early predictions. They did do the whole league, to be fair to them. They went all out, but I liked what they did with just our team. Go check out their video before watching this, it's a lot of fun. But here today I'm going to predict some aspects of Essendon's season for 2024, how we go, how our players go, who's going to improve, who's going to win the Critchon, you know, the drill. So let's just get into it, and also chuck down your predictions for what I do in the comments down below. Whoever gets closest by the end of the season can get a high five. Alrighty, so ladder position, probably the toughest thing to nail a few months before the season. It's easier to talk about individuals and how they are tracking, but when looking at one team's ladder position, you have to take the whole league into account, and teams around us have improved. Some have also gone the other way as well, but for starters, there are plenty much better than they were in 2023. You look at the top four last year, the prelim finishers, Collingwood, Brisbane, Carlton, GWS, they got to be ahead of us, you'd think, easily. I reckon Carlton are set for a big year, and I think Sydney are up there as well. Port and Melbourne, I'm less sure of. I can see either of those sides slipping, but then you get the range where I think we're set to be between 6th and 10th or 11th. There are plenty of teams I think will be in the finals range. Adelaide, the Bulldogs, St Kilda. I wouldn't be surprised if any of those teams finish ahead of us. I'm going to say 8th spot for us. I think there is definitely room for a home final. Would be silly just to discount us there after what we've added to our side. But I look at the other teams, they seem to be more complete than ours. We still have some holes. 8th seems about right to me, give or take a few spots. Considering we were pretty close to finals last year and we've improved our team so much, I think it makes sense. And that brings us to the question of a finals victory. Will we win a final for the first time in 20 odd years? Again, it's impossible to predict. We don't even know if we're going to qualify for finals, and really it depends on where you finish on the ladder. If we do finish 8th, we won't be likely to break the streak. Not many teams win a final from 8th spot, but even if we jump up 2 spots and finish with a home final, we would be favourites, you would suggest, in that head-to-head. But simply because I have us set to finish 8th in my silly prediction months before the season starts, I will say we won't win a final. I'm not really going to predict us to win a final in December until the side proves they actually have that level of maturity that we've lacked for so long. We consistently feel good about our team at this stage of the year, only to be let down. I hope 2024 is different, and I think it can be, but I'm not just going to assume that it will be. That's not to say that I'm not excited about the team, though. Alrighty, Critchon Medal, a few possible contenders you'd think. Zach Merritt, he probably wouldn't mind another one for the old trophy cabinet. That's the easiest pick. For the sake of the team, though, I hope we see someone else. I reckon Merritt playing at his best and not winning a Critchon Medal would be ideal. It would mean we're playing a lot better than we have in previous years, just so we don't have one player, well, not carrying, but doing most of the work. I'm going to say Jordan Ridley. I think now with Ben Mackay there, he will be freed up to play the way he wants to as an intercept defender. I see a lot of James Sicily with this guy, not like for like, but similar roles. We saw in 2020 when he won the Critchon, he had a lot of help from other defenders, and he was more free in his role. And since then, he has had a lot of pressure on himself to be a bit more flexible in his role, which is fine. He can be, but he has had to play on bigger forwards more than he should be playing on them. He was the one that moved to Hawkins first up when BZT was having a shocker against the Cats, and it's happened a few times. I doubt we see that in 2024. I think he is a good shout for a Critchon because of Ben Mackay. I'm almost more excited to see Ridley than Mackay, just because I think he can help out his new defensive partner so much, give him that freedom he deserves. Leading goal kicker, a couple of options, which is good. Looking at 2023, before the year it was only really one name, Peter Wright, but now with a hopefully fit list, we may see more of a wider spread. I hope so, at least. I think back to 2017 when we had Danaher and Hooker and Fantasia and Waller, with players like Stewart as well kicking some handy ones. We haven't really had that wide spread since then, and that's probably the best we've looked as a team in the last decade or so. The team now, Langford, Wright, both kicked over 50 goals once in the last 2 years. Stringer and Gresham can easily kick over 30 if they play a full season. Hopefully Jones or Caddy or Menzies step up and become consistent scorers. As for the leading goal scorer, I think Peter Wright. He was injured last year. People talk about his 2023 season as if he was disappointing or poor. I just want to say he was going at a level below he did in 2022, but he was still going at 1.9 a game compared to Langford, who was 2.2 or 2.3, so it's not far off at all. And that came with him having to return to fitness and playing when we were decreasing in form. I think he's our main target up forward. He, for for me will kick the most goals, I reckon. Best rookie, and now to me, this is a player who has yet to play an AFL game, so any of the draftees, Caddy, Roberts, Lual, Vicentini, or even someone like Lewis Hayes or Jaden Davey, who have been on the list longer but yet to step out onto the park. Safest bet here is Nate Caddy. The guy has been tearing up on the track. It's really good to see. I don't know how much we will see of the others anyway. Caddy is the most likely to feature early. I would say the most likely to keep a spot in the team as well, so Nate Caddy is my prediction for Rookie of the Year. Alrighty, and now on to the best recruit. This could be a draftee, so it could be Caddy again. It could be a player we traded for. I've gone with the player from the group of the latter options, Jade Gresham. I was skeptical at first with this trade, but he has put in a really good training block to start his Essendon career. He is at a really good age, physical prime. I think we get consistency with Mackay, but Gresham will hopefully be that eye-catching recruit that can help us hit the scoreboard more, whether directly or indirectly. The Mackay deal made sense because it was a big need. He is a big earner. He has pressure to perform. If he doesn't, there will be news. If he does, it's expected. But there has been more talk surrounding Gresham and his quality before joining, I guess. If he exceeds expectations, it will be bigger for the fan base just to have that exciting small forward back in the team, hopefully giving us a new dimension forward of the ball. So that's why I think if Gresham does perform or exceed expectations, it'll be a bigger recruitment than Ben Mackay. And finally, the biggest improver, the list member who goes from fringe to first team. Think of Jaden Laverty and Kyle Langford in the last few years. There are a few that certainly could earn this title, Zach Reed, Nick Cox, but I'm going to say someone I haven't seen too many talk about, and it will be interesting because of our recent ruck signings. But Nick Bryan, rucks do take longer to develop. We saw plenty of signs late in 2023 with Bryan, but he wasn't really a consistent first team player. But that Geelong game, although we were smashed, it was a good night for him. I think with Draper injured early and Goldstein probably needing rests, Bryan should get more regular game time. I hope so at least, but I'd love to see him challenge Goldie regularly. He's at the age where we will start to see growth quicker. It might be a year early. You usually got to be closer to 25 before you start featuring as a main ruck or in the first team, but I think we could potentially see quite a bit of growth from Bryan, especially because he is now learning under Todd Goldstein, one of the best hit-out rucks to ever play the game. And that is about all I think I can predict. As I said, leave yours down in the comments. Would love to see them. I'll also do a full season prediction soon, I reckon, as a full comp, I mean. Go watch Absolutely Essendon's video, but that's all. Like, subscribe, and go Bombers.